8 de março de 97, Los Angeles. O ídolo do rap Notorius B I G, Christopher Wallace, e o produtor Sean Puffy Combs gravariam um vídeo para o novo álbum, Life After Death. Naquela noite, eles foram a uma festa patrocinada pela revista Vibe.
We decided to go out to the party because we were trying to be out and being seen. And a lot of people were coming and giving us positive greetings.
We were just partying and just having fun.
Puff asked for the bottles. Said, how many bottles you got? Yo, bring me all the bottles you got. So he basically bought out the bar.
The place was so full of smoke by midnight, the fire marshal said, we're going to have to shut this down.
They were ordering everybody to leave, but we had a whole entourage of people with us. We was going to go to another club.
We got into the cars. My car was in front. Biggie was in the vehicle behind.
Seguem até o cruzamento da Fairfax com a Wilshire. No semáforo, o carro de Puff avança o sinal vermelho e o de Big para. Um Impala preto se aproxima do carro de Big.
I was behind Big in the passenger seat talking to some females on the sidewalk. And maybe like a second later, this Impala pulled up.
I was in the car with Puff. We heard something go, pop, 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 pop.
Everybody in the car ducked down.
We were screaming, they shooting at Big. We U-ed around, we see the killer turn the corner. We parked directly in front of Big's car.
I had jumped out. I had ran to the car. I opened up the door and I was trying to talk to him.
Big just leaned over the car, his eyes kind of open. He just had this look on his face like, can you believe it? Like, these got me.
Enquanto Puff socorria Big, os outros foram atrás do atirador.
Me and Tone, another guy who was rolling with us, took after the guy. He was going down Wilshire Boulevard, and he was gunning it. Tone's a maniac in driving, but every time he get to like 90, the car would go all the way back down because it had some kind of government chip on that particular Suburban.
Por razões de segurança, Suburbans modelo 95 a 98 tem um chip obrigatório que automaticamente reduz a velocidade quando o carro passa de 145 km por hora. Uma válvula na bomba de combustível se fecha, desacelerando o carro.
Where's Cat go? I don't know, man. Did they make a left?
He got out of our sight, and we didn't have a chance. That was real frustrating. So we went back to the scene of the shooting.
Depois de desistirem da perseguição, a polícia é chamada à 00:49 e o resgate é acionado.
Shots fired, reported at 6060 Wilshire Boulevard. All units in the area respond.
Now, when we get back to Big's car, we decide we're gonna take him to the hospital.
We ran every light, jumping on the curb, sidewalks. We was trying the quickest way to get him to the hospital.
I was talking to him, but I wasn't hearing anything. He wasn't saying anything.
So we get to the hospital. I jump out the car. The gurney comes.
Big guy needs some help here.
Everybody helped to pick him up and got him on a stretcher.
Took like 6, 7 dudes to get him out the car. And when we got him out the car, he wasn't bleeding at all.
Hold the gun, hold the gun.
O tronco de Big foi perfurado por 4 balas. Apesar do estrago interno, ele não está sangrando. Pesando quase 200 quilos, sua gordura extra fecha o orifício da bala e retém o sangue na parede do tórax. Os médicos o levam para a cirurgia e, sem sinais vitais, tentam ressuscitá-lo.
The doctors administered fluids, they administered blood, they opened his chest to be able to do some open cardiac massage to see if they were able to give him a chance to survive.
Os médicos fazem o possível, mas a 1:15, Christopher Wallace é declarado morto.
They came and told us, that he had passed, and it was just unbelievable.
It was crazy for me. I think that's the first time I couldn't hold back my tears.
It's the last thing I thought that Big would be dead, but it was reality. It was real. Everybody was in there with this phone in their hand because we had to make a decision on who was going to call his mother. Nobody wanted to make that phone call to tell her mother her only son has passed away. D-Rock was the only one muscle up enough heart to say, you know what, give me the phone. As soon as he got on the phone, he was already crying. And she was just like, why is this grown man crying on this other line? And he just told her that Big just passed away. She dropped the phone, hysterical crying.
Enquanto Big perdia sua vida, na cena do crime, policiais de Los Angeles começam a investigar.
I get to the crime scene. As a lead detective, I'm responsible for collecting the evidence, coordinating witnesses. Some witnesses hung around, but it was very few.
A few witnesses solidified the description of the vehicle being a black Chevy Impala.
Most of those interviews didn't provide much. I hear some shots. I hear the car speed off.
No one even got a partial plate.
A polícia busca uma pista concreta.
There wasn't a lot of evidence at the scene except broken glass and bullet casings. The only thing was that the ammunition was a very unusual ammunition. It was 9mm, but it was a brand called Gecko, which is generally not seen on the West Coast.
You hope it's a simple, clear case, and you hopefully one day you can go back and tell Ms. Walls, hey, I found out who did it. The person's in custody. But in this case, there's not much evidence, so the task's gonna be harder than you want it to be.
A seguir, vídeo que poderia solucionar o caso. E mais, suspeito parecido com o retrato falado. Em Famous Crime Scene, Notorius B I G.
Welcome to the second season of That Metal Show.
What's your name?
My name's Gary.
Why are you copping my luck?
Hey.
Did you sleep with Gene Simmons?
That Metal Show. Segunda, 9h. A única coisa que interessa é a fama. Pode ser uma música, uma estrela do rock, uma dieta ou uma moda. O importante é aparecer no ranking. Os momentos inesquecíveis merecem um lugar no pódio. VH1 Countdown. Quarta, 11h.
Os novos notebooks HP são um show. Novo HP Pavilion DV5 2080BR com processador Intel Core i5 430M. Sábado, 7h.
Famous Crime Scene, Notorious B I G.
The gangster rap world has been shaken again, this time by the violent death of the performer known as Notorious B I G.
8h em Los Angeles. A notícia já se espalhou pelo país. A polícia encaminha o caso à divisão de Wilshire e não à unidade especializada em homicídios.
I think one of the big mistakes made in the investigation was not moving it to the robbery homicide unit. Those guys are trained to do homicides. This is their expertise.
It's hard to say why robbery homicide wasn't put on the case immediately. You got to go with supposition. Chief of Police Bernard Parks didn't see Biggie Smalls as a celebrity. I mean, he's not worth robbery homicide.
Às 9h, as testemunhas começam a prestar depoimento.
So they questioned us, asked us, did we see the person? It wasn't that long enough for us to really recognize the face or nothing. It was just real quick. They kept trying to get a sketch, and we just knew he was black, and he had a bow tie.
A few people who were on the street also helped the cops put together a composite.
Com descrições das testemunhas, foi feito retrato falado do atirador. Sem barba, moreno, cabelo curto, terno azul e gravata borboleta.
Witnesses said the shooter looked like a member of the Fruit of Islam, which is the security wing of the Nation of Islam.
There's a certain uniform look that the Fruits of Islam people have, and this guy had it to the T. There have long been stories in law enforcement about members of the Fruits of Islam working as contract killers.
No dia seguinte ao assassinato, os detetives apresentam um retrato falado do atirador.
I believe when we make the arrest, and I'm hoping that there will be a very good similar appearance between our composite and the murder suspect.
O retrato falado desencadeou chamadas telefônicas, mas nada de pistas. No entanto, aclarou a memória de Eugene Deal, o segurança que dirigia o carro de Puffy.
When investigators spoke with Eugene Deal, he placed a man that matched the description of the shooter outside the entrance to the Vi party.
The guy had walked directly towards Puff's car. He had a blue suit, bow tie. We look at each other eye to eye. He didn't say anything to me. Nothing. I made sure that he knew I was good. You understand? And he looked at me, walked away, and walked right back down the street, basically out of sight.
I believe the shooter was watching every move that the Biggie Smalls entourage was making.
No começo da investigação, acredita-se que a polícia cometeu um erro grave. Revelou que a arma do assassino era uma 9mm.
It was a very fast sequence of events with a 9mm weapon.
To give the information out, to me, it was a mistake. Lieutenant Moyne let the information out, and he came back to me like 3 minutes later, and he apologized for doing that, because if I was the suspect, if I had a 9mm gun, what would I do with my gun? Would I keep it? Heck no, that thing's gone.
Em 11 de março, o carro de Big é levado para a perícia. A balística mostra que foram 6 tiros na porta do passageiro, abaixo da janela. 4 balas atingem Big. Uma se aloja na porta e outra no lado esquerdo do banco traseiro. As balas foram disparadas de baixo para cima, indicando que o veículo do atirador era mais baixo.
The analysis supported eyewitness accounts that bullets were fired into the Suburban from an Impala.
Dias depois, investigadores vão a Nova York interrogar Puffy e outros parceiros de Big, que haviam ido embora de Los Angeles.
According to the detective I talked to, Puffy was not willing to give a lot of detail and very vague in his answers and didn't answer a lot of questions.
Well, he didn't want to be involved in this. He didn't want, the stain attached to his company and his reputation. I'm pretty sure that was part of it.
Puff begged Big to go to that party. Big didn't want to go to that party because his legs was hurt.
I think some weight of conscience about that and not wanting people to know that he was responsible for Biggie being there.
I've spoken to the police. Everybody that was there spoke to the police, but I don't know who did this. I don't have an idea, and it's not right for people to speculate until the police find out, exactly what's going on.
Em 13 de março, os cartuchos encontrados são analisados. Cobertos por uma cola vaporizada, as digitais se destacam. Depois, com uma fita adesiva, as digitais são registradas. Em seguida, examinam digitais, sujeiras e arranhões na fita. Nenhuma digital foi encontrada nos cartuchos.
It's a disappointment because if you can get a partial and get a match on that, that'll be another clue that you can work on.
Mas a falta de impressões não surpreende. Digitais em cartuchos são difíceis de identificar devido a fatores como o borrão no carregamento.
I worked homicide for 10 years. I've solved over 100 homicides. I think I maybe gave maybe 2 or 3 fingerprints off of bullets.
Passaram-se 8 dias do assassinato de Biggie. Detetives têm um retrato falado, mas nenhum suspeito ou pistas importantes. O programa America's Most Wanted revela algo que deixa o caso em aberto.
A Texas woman came forward and contacted America's Most Wanted and said she had videotape that she took that night. And so America's Most Wanted contacted the police department.
I was told that the actual shooting was on the video.
They were very excited about it and flew to Texas to get the videotape.
It didn't actually capture the shooting. They was focusing on Biggie's car when the shots were fired. The camera just went shaky, shaky, shake, like, you're nervous.
There was no smoking gun. They couldn't see the license plate. They couldn't see the shooter.
The video was essentially useless and they were back at square one.
A seguir, uma teoria leva a um lugar surpreendente. A polícia de Los Angeles. Em Famous Crime Scene, Notorius B I G.
Welcome to the second season of That Metal Show.
What's your name?
My name's Gary.
Why are you copping my look?
Hey.
You know what I mean?
Did you sleep with Gene Simmons?
That Metal Show. Segunda, 9h.
Unchain my heart. Baby, let me be. Unchain my heart. Cause you don't care about me. You got me sort of like a pillowcase, but you let my love go away. So unchain my heart, oh please, please set me free.
Os 60 melhores clipes. Segunda a sexta, 7h. Juventude à Flor da Pele. Terça, 9h.
Famous Crime Scene, Notorious B I G. 18 de março, 9 dias depois do cruel assassinato. Os detetives começam a investigar uma ligação com o assassinato de Tupac Shakur, 6 meses antes, em Las Vegas, de modo quase idêntico.
When Biggie was murdered, everybody thought of Tupac because there'd been this long animosity, East Coast, West Coast, Death Row Records versus Bad Boy Records, Suge Knight versus Puffy Combs.
Suge Knight, who ran Death Row Records at the time, was considered a suspect. Cops thought it could be a retaliation killing.
We got a lot of calls blaming him, but it's just people's opinions. I had nothing to confirm he was involved at all.
Nas 3 semanas seguintes, os detetives não chegam a lugar nenhum. O retrato falado e os cartuchos da marca Gecko não levam a nada. Em 8 de abril, sob pressão da mídia e da população, eles transferem o caso para a divisão especializada em homicídios, com esperança de melhores resultados.
I was told that Robert Homicide would be taking the case over. It was given to Russ Poole.
We're 30 days behind. Now it's going to take at least another 30 days to try to get up to date. There's like a 2-month delay, and in a murder investigation, that's not good.
Em novembro de 97, uma evolução inesperada. O policial David Mack rouba $722 mil de um banco. O FBI descobre uma pista em sua casa.
The FBI did a search warrant on his house. He had 5 9mm guns. He had Tupac Shakur memorabilia all over the garage. Inside the garage was a black Impala.
Mack supostamente fez bico de segurança para Suge Knight e sua gravadora.
So you got a rogue cop, a criminal cop, a cop who's supposedly connected to Suge Knight, who has, some physical evidence that made him a suspect.
O policial criminoso leva 14 anos de prisão. Investigadores analisam o comportamento de Mac e se surpreendem com sua primeira visita na cadeia. O retrato falado do assassino.
Amir Muhammad so much resembled the composite drawing that my heart just about jumped out of my chest. Apparently he's the godfather of David Mack's kids. That's how close they are. Good friends.
Amir Muhammad was a member of the Nation of Islam, rumored to be a member of the Fruits of Islam.
I believe this was the break in the case.
Poole diz que Suge Knight queria Notorius B I G morto e pediu para o policial corrupto Mac executar o plano. Mac recruta seu amigo Amir Muhammad para matá-lo.
Poole went to Police Chief Bernard Parks to request a warrant to search David Mack's house, hoping to find evidence the FBI could have missed that would connect Amir Muhammad and Mack to Biggie Smalls' murder.
I was denied doing another search warrant for David Mack because the bank robbery case was now in the hands of the FBI.
To deny the chief investigator the ability to look into someone who could very likely be tied to the crime is really strange.
It was very frustrating. The powers to be said, hey, put the case on the shelf. We're not going to deal with this anymore. Let's drop it.
Poole acredita que impediram sua investigação na polícia de Los Angeles. Em junho de 99, Poole é retirado do caso de B.I.G. Logo depois, ele pede demissão.
I was frustrated because of the corruption going on within the police department.
Poole depois expõe sua teoria.
Many of Biggie's fans found it completely outrageous that he wouldn't be allowed to conduct this investigation properly. This really stood out as an egregious case of someone trying to hide something.
A pressão popular faz a polícia continuar a investigação.
LA police confirmed they're looking into the possibility that ex-LAPD officer David Mack, who's serving a 14-year sentence for bank robbery, may have arranged Wallace's murder for jailed West Coast music mogul Suge Knight.
Suge Knight, David Mack e Amir Muhammad declaram não ter nada a ver com o assassinato. Mack e seu advogado vão mais longe. Negam qualquer envolvimento com Suge Knight.
There are allegations that he worked for Suge Knight or Death Row Records. It's not true. He's never worked for them. There are allegations that he partied with Suge Knight. It's not true. He never partied with him. He had no association with Suge Knight.
A polícia não consegue provar a ligação de Muhammad, Mack ou Knight com o crime.
From the beginning, this case has been botched. That it was assigned to the local Wilshire division as opposed to robbery homicide, that leads weren't properly investigated, that warrants were denied. It seems nearly impossible that the murder of Biggie Smalls will be solved.
Abril de 2002. 5 anos depois do assassinato de B.I.G., sua mãe, Violetta Wallace, processa a polícia de Los Angeles por má administração da investigação.
I've labored with pain and sweat just to find out the truth of what happened to my son.
I had interviewed her at length, and I know she was frustrated.
Her whole job was to find who murdered her son, and that was her main objective, and she wasn't going to stop, and she's not going to stop until she found out.
All I want is justice.
Mas a justiça teria que esperar. Depois de 3 anos da batalha legal de Violetta, o caso foi anulado, pois seu advogado apurou que a polícia estava cobertando provas relacionadas a policiais. Ainda não foi aberto um novo processo e a polícia afirma que a investigação continua.
LAPD says they're following up on some fresh clues. I hope the case does get solved in one way or another. All I want is the truth to come out.
10 anos depois de sua morte, Notorious B I G ainda é uma força no hip hop. Seus 2 álbuns venderam mais de 20 milhões de cópias e são considerados clássicos do rap.
Biggie's legacy has to be his music, something that was cut short of greatness.
He was a great rapper, a literary giant, a poet, something positive to the community. He was loving, humorous. He wasn't this big, dark gangster rapper. He was just a genius.